How can Dwayne now show that he's ready, or is it just going to be a situation where he's given a chance because Case fails? Because we know that during the season, the twos don't get many reps.
Right. Yeah, it was interesting yesterday to hear Jay answer the question about is he, the starter for 16 games or is it week to week? And Jay was like, well, you got to perform. If he performs, there's nothing to worry about. And that's different than, no, Case is our guy. And I still think that leaves the window open. And also, every other question he answered about the quarterbacks, he said the two. Not the two as in Haskins, he's the second string. The two as in the two of them together. So he very much seemed to leave it as a still open competition, even though Case is certainly the guy for right now, and there's still a sizable gap between the two. But I think if Case struggles, obviously they could go to Dwayne. And I think that if Dwayne shows in practice that he can stop making some of the mistakes that have limited him in the preseason. He stops taking as many sacks. He is more decisive and quick with his reads, that maybe there is a chance for him to just come in and they start evening out the reps a little bit more in practice. And, Case is just going to have to take that. Dwayne's the future of the franchise. Case is on an expiring deal. Case, they're still going to be trying to get him ready to play. But if all of a sudden they think Dwayne is getting close and that maybe he ultimately gives them a better chance to win this season at some point, that I think is still on the table.
Craig, here's the thing, though. And I think that Haskins improved week to week. I think we all as fans have seen that. I'm sure the coaches have seen that too. But there's no way we can realistically say, in my opinion, that it was an open competition because he never played with the ones. He got some reps with the ones, right, in practice. But by and large, this is how Jay wanted this to be. He wanted one of his veterans to start out at the beginning and then see how it goes. Everyone talks about the first 5 or 6 weeks and how difficult that is. There really is nothing surprising here.
No, there's nothing surprising, but it doesn't mean it wasn't an open competition. Dwayne never earned reps with the ones. Like, you can evaluate a quarterback and what they do in spite of the talent around them in a practice setting. Do you do the things you for you guys doing the show, if 3 of you or today 2 of you are goofing off and not doing the things that you're supposed to do, derailing the show, no one's on time with the clock, all that kind of stuff, like CK could come in and evaluate who had a good show and who didn't. It doesn't matter who is necessarily sitting next to you. So Dwayne, whether the receiver is or the tight end is Matt Flanagan or Jordan Reed, like, is that guy open or not? And did you get off the read fast enough? Like, you can do that. You can
you can evaluate him, but it's not the same as evaluating ones versus ones.
Sure, but he never was good enough with the twos to warrant putting him with the ones, because
I'll buy that.
The ones, when you're with the ones, you're also getting ready for the season.
I'll buy that, but Craig, I would also argue that it was never intended for him to win this job. It was never intended for Dwayne Haskins to win this job, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I struggle with that premise because I do, like, the part of it, to me, it's just a competition. Like, it just is, Is there an intended outcome? Yeah, the best guy plays. So if all of a sudden Dwayne had been awesome, then he would have gotten reps with the ones and he would have won the job, but he's not. He's not there yet. And I think, I will say this, I think Jay and Kevin and that offensive staff knew that when they drafted him. And I think that's why there was some split in the building on him at 15.
Right.
Because they knew, like, nobody disliked Dwayne. And I think that's arguments all the time in sports. And if you like one guy over the other, it's assumed that you think the other guy stinks. And it's not the case, thought of drafting Dwayne Haskins. It's just they didn't think he was necessarily a first-round pick or worthy of the 15th pick, that there were better players on the board. And part of that is a quarterback not just has to have a high ceiling, but has to be ready to play right now. And they knew he wasn't ready to play right now. They love him as a kid. They love his work ethic. They love his talent. And they've even probably been surprised a little bit by his talent because there's some mobility there that didn't show up at Ohio State. But he's not ready. And they knew that when they drafted him. And so if you want to say from that respect, this is how they wanted it to play out. No, they would have loved to have been pleasantly surprised and for him to be awesome immediately. But I think they kind of knew this was going to be the case and planned accordingly. So if you want to put it through that lens, I'm okay with that.
Craig, the last time Case Keenum played in Philadelphia, it did not go well. He was with the Vikings in 2017. They were thrashed 38-6, lost. Is there any mental residue from him from that loss while he was still with the Vikings?
There's a lot of mental residue from that loss. JP Finley asked him about this yesterday, and he just kind of gave the nod and went, yeah, I remember. Mm-hmm. I remember. I still use it. And then, JP kind of followed up like, well, do you want to tell us more? And he just said, it's something that I remember. I remember how I feel walking off that field. I remember, just the feeling of being that close and having it so violently ripped away. And that has motivated me. It still does motivate me. And yeah, I use it. So it was a really interesting, vulnerable moment from Case, who's typically pretty cocky. It got that kind of Texas quarterback attitude, which is what you need to play in this league. So I don't mean cocky as any kind of detriment. And it was a vulnerable moment of, like I remember how bad that sucked. And so, yeah, there's more than a little residue left from that. And I think he's very much looking forward to getting a chance to start with a team that I think he believes is pretty good in Philadelphia next weekend.